Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply.
Welcome to the Bay 13 Flogcast for round 21. I'm your host with the most, the compare without compare, the man who can make any pussy purr with a stroke of his hand. That means your wife too, listeners, the one and only Cat Wrangler. Tonight on the panel we have, You Don't Know Jack. You there, Jack? No, he's not there because the stupid prick forgot to show up. He scribbled on the Flogcast and now I can't ask him what the hell is up with that toolbag Watts showing up with an entourage on the footy show. We've also got Danny Boy.
Evening.
What can I say, Dan? Well done, North. Well done.
We did the round proud.
You did, mate. You waved the flag for the rest of the AFL. Also from out west, we have Duckula.
Hello.
Good evening. Now, Ducks, the Eagles sucked more dick than Linda Lovelace on the weekend. I reckon we should rename Patterson's Oval Deep Throat Reserve. Am I right?
It was horrendous, definitely, yeah. But anyway, look, Daddy's out of town. He's left the keys to the Ferrari. It's time to tear it up, boys, okay? So let's leave nothing out of this one, all right?
Oh, look, I agree. Forget the outtakes. This is the real Flogcast. Now, before we go any further, there's someone we've got to say hello to here, and that is Marto. How you going, mate?
G'day, shit fighters. How you going?
It's our Snowtown champion. Look, and I just have to tell you, Marto, despite what has been said on the Bay this week, Dangerfield would be captain of Port by now. I'm just saying, you know this is right.
No, it's not right. Last weekend, look, I've got the stats to prove it. What was it? I think he had 13 inside 50 entries, the result of no goals. I mean, I think that says it all about the man. He's an absolute flog. He doesn't do jack shit with the ball. His disposal efficiency is atrocious, and I think he's overrated. Travis Boak, he'll be All-Australian this year. He's been superb.
I don't need to ask you any more Port questions for the rest of the Flogcast tonight, Marto. Welcome, boys. And look, Ducks, you're right on the money, mate. We can't ignore the elephant in the room. Someone is not here. I can't say his name, but, well, that person, they're not here, and that someone barracks for Richmond.
Yeah, hang on. Where is he?
Well, before you ask me, let me just say, if I was a betting man and you could fit a podcast compare in a microwave oven, well, let me just say I'd be hosting this show for a long time, and that's forever.
I suspect what's happened, boys, is his sphincter's a little sore from the rogering that the Tankers gave his team on the weekend. That's my theory.
Oh, mate, I heard he's been dropped. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I can't say, he's not squibbing and he's not been dropped.
We're not the Collingwood Football Club in which, you know, you're the captain and you get a game every week because of that. I mean...
Well, look, I reckon, you know, it's enough to say that Fyfie's not here. And he's given me the keys, as Ducks has rightly pointed out, he's given me the keys to Ferrari for the night. But, you know, I reckon this is our big opportunity to let the world what we really think about Richmond.
Maybe he's gone to Greater Western Sydney, just like Dusty Martin's about to.
Oh, that's a good point you bring up there, actually, Marto. We've got a bit of a new segment on tonight. Look, I've been keeping my ear to the ground, knowing that I was captain of the Flogcast this week. Over the weekend, my cousin's sister, who's a nurse, she found a note in a Coke bottle. That Coke bottle, well, she pulled it out of Jennifer Keyte's purse. In that Coke bottle, there was a little note, and on it said, there's a rumour, Buddy is staying, and GWS are now going for Dusty Martin, and it's as good as done, and he's signing for $850 a year for 5 years. Has anyone else got any rumours they pulled out of Jennifer's purse?
I don't even know who Jennifer is. I don't know who Jennifer Keyte is. You're forgetting. I'm a bit west of your border here.
Well, there's this TV presenter over here who's really famous called Jennifer Keyte. Got a bottle of Coke jammed and she had to go to hospital to get it taken out.
That's brilliant. 10 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
I'm still 10 years behind you. We're only just getting fucking the first Star Wars prequel over in WA, man.
Yeah, I'm 12. What is this?
There's this urban myth about Jennifer Keyte getting a bottle of Coke, Jen, and, it was a big night for Jennifer. There's a lot of juice on that rumour.
Well, all right. Firstly, I'm going to say disregard what Cat Wrangler just said. This is true. This is first-hand information. No Chinese whispers bullshit. I've heard Rory Sloane. He's doing a Taylor Walker. He's getting rid of that stupid mane. He's doing it for charity, and I say good on him. It's for a good cause. And look, don't cry about it, crow flogs. It had to go eventually, just like Taylor pedestrian, stupid mullet, and true story. I'm just going to look up this Jennifer Keyte Coke bottle story.
How about you, Bender? What have you got, mate?
Yeah, nothing.
So,
the rumour that I've been passed anyway on a small piece of paper that covered in some rather sticky juices anyway. Lockie Keyte from the Pies and the rest of the team plan to give a little bit to Sam Mitchell on Friday night pre-game. They all got around and decided that they were going to make sure that he left the game a bit sore.
Danny boy, how about yourself? Have you heard any rumours out of the Coke bottle this week?
I heard a rumour about an 18-week hamstring injury that looked a bit suspicious with Josh Hunt. Apparently, the Geelong officials are trying to keep him away from getting drug tested.
Really? I heard the same rumour, Danny, said there was Chappie.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Staying in.
Fuck's sake. The bottles seems to keep on getting bigger every time we hear about it.
Right. That's quite believable. I'll give that one a litre bottle of Coke rating on the Jennifer Keyte secret scale. All right, boys, let's get the pliers and blowtorch out and review this week's games. First off, Friday night, had the Pies versus the Hawks. Hawthorn 119, Pies 84. What do we make of that, Big Dan?
It was a very good game. Finals like sort of intensity. The one thing I took out of it though, even though this individual side lost, Brodie Grundy, this kid can play. He's probably going to be the best ruckman in a few years. Just his poise and tap work was just first class.
He's good, and he's willing to try different things as well. You don't see many even developed ruckmen, let alone early ruckmen, like tapping behind their head and with skill as well. And he did it a few times and landed it really well. He does look really good, that's for sure. If he gets his fitness up in terms of where he can run the entire game like really well, he'll be a huge asset.
I loved his second efforts. You can really tell that Ben Hudson's his coach. What did you think of the game, Marto?
Brodie Grundy, pretty good ruckman for his age. South Australian. Drawback, I suppose, he's in serious need of a visit to get his hair cut properly.
What the hell is that thing he's
ridiculous.
got tied up on the top of his head?
It's a samurai top knot. He's obviously studying to be a shogun.
Actually, it's funny you should mention that, but he's a black belt. I bid you not, boys. He's a black belt, and I think that's where he gets a lot of his competitive spirit for that top knot. I think you're right on the money there, Ducks. I personally think it looks ridiculous, and he probably needs to get a hairdressing phone number from our mate Goldilocks out at the Crows.
Friday night games are boring me at the moment. I suppose it's I really want to see Port Adelaide out there, and tired of seeing Hawthorn and Geelong get Friday night games every week. It just bores me after a while seeing every Friday night game in Melbourne. But what I did see, I suppose it was a fairly predictable result in the end. I thought Collingwood would put up a fight, sure, but the Dorks got home in the end. Good on them. Now comes September and the annual choke.
Marto, I don't know if any of you other fellas have anything to add to that, but I'm just got to let you know that bay covers don't make for great TV on a Friday night. So you're really kidding yourself. You need to get a few more faces at the game before you're going to get Friday night. I reckon it's time we moved on to the big game, the one that we're all looking forward to covering, Blues versus Tigers. And I probably don't need to remind you that Richmond 96 wasn't enough to beat Carlton 106 on the weekend. Ducks, this is all about you, buddy. What do you reckon?
Oh, what a disappointment. I was hoping that, look, I'm not sure if it's been, clear on this show, but Carlton are generally one of my most disliked teams in the AFL, at least. And I was hoping that, Richmond would, it was a game that they should have won. And I think if we've heard our esteemed host, not yourself, the usual host, say before that they have a habit of losing games that they should win. And, they did it this time. And it was just, I don't know, it wasn't a great performance to be up by, I think it was at least 30 points or 36 points in the second quarter. And Carlton came back and rolled over the top of them. Yeah, it was a bit weak, a bit soft.
Got to agree with you, mate. It was pretty soft, all right. How about you, Danny? What was your take?
I didn't watch the game, but credit to Carlton. They would have definitely missed out on the barbecue this week.
Funny you mention about the barbecue. At this stage in the season, do you think that, Carlton members are willing to trade wins for a free feed, or because they like their ham? They're free ham.
The Tocky.
Tocky, especially when it's shaved.
Look, I know there's a bit of a rumour that Fyfie squibbed it, which let me say I'm flatly denying that Fyfie's a squib. He's not a squib, alright?
Squib.
Look, I can say that for certain. I can say that for a certain fact that he's not, because I'm just throwing it out there right now that I happen to know that Fyfie was extra busy down at the microwave repair shop this weekend.
He was chiseling plastic memberships off the bowls in the microwave, you reckon?
Absolutely, mate.
I was going to say, what do you reckon a Richmond fan does after they have a loss?
Mate, I can tell you actually that I've got a bit of a sneaky list here that Fyfie's provided me of the top 5 things that him and his Richmond mates were up to over the weekend. Dan, what's number 5?
Number 5 would be finding Richmond supporters inside a human-sized microwave.
And number 4, under a giant pile of cow shit, of course.
Number 3, binge eating at KFC with the boys.
Number 2, round at Fyfie's mum's getting a big hug. Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, that's adorable.
Number 1 thing that Richmond supporters like to do to console themselves after a loss is picking Tiger Boys' key out of a bowl at Alex Rance's party.
Oh, unlucky.
Brutal.
Imagine waking up spooning with the Tiger Boys. Wow.
Oh,
Well,
God.
use the big spoon or the little spoon, because that's probably something you want to take into account too.
It depends on whether you're his cousin. Geelong versus the Eagles. I don't know about you, Marto, Dan. Is anyone else here sensing very hurt, pained? Someone else has been around at Alex Rance's over the weekend besides Fyfie. West Coast 6-5-41. Geelong 16-11, 107. Talk about mad techers. Seriously, I thought I saw some Rioli gold on the weekend. But Motlop against your bunch of witches' hats, he looked even better. Ducks, explain
Well,
it.
I don't think you can dispute it now. I think firsthand, because I was at the game, I can confidently say that Motlop is far better than Rioli. Because we know Rioli will give you, maybe 10 or 15 minutes a game, whereas Motlop will play for at least, well, he did a half before he was out, and that half was just spectacular. So he shits all over Rioli. That's it in short. Geelong were awesome. They were far too good, and the Eagles are nowhere near up to standard. But they just exposed them with pace and skill, and it was never more obvious in a game on like it was on Saturday night that the difference between class in the wet when it comes to Geelong versus the Eagles.
Right. Well, look, I was pretty disappointed with the Eagles' effort, I've got to say. So I'm not letting you off easy. I've given you a kick in the butt. What did you reckon, Marto? Seriously?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces early in the game, turning away from the bar, having a look up at the TV and everything. But unfortunately, it was a bit predictable. I thought, to be honest, that West Coast would give a bit more of a contest, but sadly it didn't happen. And on Stephen Motlop, I saw Motlop last week, and he has his flashes of brilliance, but I don't think he's what you call consistent. He sort of fell in and out of the game a little bit, but maybe I haven't watched enough of him doing well. He pisses me right off.
Well,
he's a cheat.
Whatever you say about Rioli, he's got the mad techers, Rioli. But then afterwards, he's just totally, calm. He's like, yeah, I did it, so what, Doesn't, big note himself. But Motlop, he's a massive big jam. Seriously, the finger waving. But besides that, they pull him off the ground, and the first thing he does is go and get his diamond earrings and put them in at half time. He is a total fig jam. And, it's like, mate, he's good. We all know you're good. We all saw you. There's no need to, lairize afterwards so much. Let's move on to the Swans versus the Saints. Marto?
Swans versus Saints. Oh, gee, what do you say about it? Did anyone actually watch this game?
Let me just say, forget the Hawks versus the Saints last week. This was the worst game of the season. The Swans were, mate, they were ugly. I mean, I know they're a boring football side, but they're, right up there with Freo.
They're not as bad as Freo. Sydney's a successful club, though. I mean, this is a team that they went to the big dance and fucked the prom queen. I mean, Fremantle, on the other hand, is just that ugly bloody dude with the purple suit who will never get laid.
So, next game, Dogs versus Crows. In case you didn't see what happened, the score was Western Bulldogs 131, Adelaide 114. Dan, what do you make of that?
It's a super effort from the Dogs. I mean, it's the one thing with their season is that's been evident is that their effort has just been consistent throughout the whole year in their losses and in their wins.
Yeah, they're average all the time. I agree. I got to say, did anyone see? I'm loving the Doggies at the moment. They're my second team. Seriously. Did anyone see Big Will's chicken wing on Dangerfield?
You said something about Dangerfield's mum.
What do you reckon, Ducks?
No, I was busy shaving my gooch on that one. It took 3 hours as well, so I missed the whole game.
That's a massive gooch.
You know, the gooch isn't big, the hair is, that's all. No, look, I really do. I like watching the younger teams anyway, or younger talented teams play, and you know, when they're the underdog and they get up. I do like seeing Port and GWS and Gold Coast win, and especially the Doggies at the moment. They're putting in, and exactly what Dan said, you could never fault their endeavour all year. It's just been the same whether they've won or lost. They've always put the effort in, so it's good to see them at least getting some wins.
Sorry, fellas, I'm trying not to laugh too much about the result on the weekend. It was pretty funny seeing the Crows lose, and my old man cracked the shits over a few umpiring decisions as well. So I found out he's still complaining because he's a Crow supporter. So that was pretty fun as well. But yeah.
I want to ask Mark a question. Now that he's revealed that his dad is a Crow supporter, you know, has anyone seen the Simpsons episode where Homer's family show up and they have that Homer's extended family, and they have those fights in the yard where two people wear pots on their heads and they run at each other and they headbutt each other? I'm imagining Marto and his dad doing that during Showdown week, just lining up, and whoever falls back the furthest loses. Is that accurate, Marto?
Yes. Yeah, probably a South Australian thing.
I've got to say something right now, Marto. I have seen what Marto looks like, and if you've ever seen 4 bricks stuck together, that's Marto's head. He's actually a pretty big fella. So I reckon him and his dad just would go pot free, mate.
Not that big a fella.
He's the Brad Ebert of Port supporters.
No way. You haven't even seen the rest of my body.
His head is like a gorilla. Anyway, so come on, Marto. Kick it off, mate. 113 to 96. You beat Gold Coast. Well done. Tell us all about it.
Oh, well, to be honest, it wasn't a whole lot to get excited about, apart from the fact that we got the 4 points. Went down to Arctic Stadium on Saturday afternoon. I had the Saturday afternoon off for once. Got down there, Port kicked the first 4 goals. You beauty, all's going well, into the wind. And then at about quarter time, I guess Port just thought they were going to win it easily or something, because Gold Coast gave us a real fright, and we were down at 3/4 time by 9 points, and it wasn't looking too good. But having said that, I never really thought we were going to lose. We've been finishing really well all year, and got home in the end. I suppose the only thing of note from the game, apart from Travis Boak showing that he should be in the All-Australian team, is that Hamish Hartlett has been cited and been offered a 2-week ban. What you could just say is just a hip and shoulder on a Gold Coast player. It's turning the AFL to Nancy Boy stuff, really, what the match review panel is doing to the game. I don't know about you fellas, but I'm a bit sick of seeing my players being rubbed out for just bumping a player.
Yeah, it's weak. this week. Young Angus Monfries take a big shit all over the Cat Wrangler again this week, or?
Well, not in goals. I mean, he booted 7 last week, didn't kick any this week. Was thrown into the on the ball a bit more this week, and was in the best players again. You'd have to say, did really well around the ball. So yeah, he took a big fat dump on the Cat Wrangler again. You'd have to say.
He definitely did a number on me, and Number two, mate. It's getting ugly down here. He's taken it personally, and so he should, because I think he's an absolute tool bag. I'll be saying that all year until at such time that Port are a chance to play the Hawks, in which time I'll shut up. I just don't want to say that was a long review, Marto, but I went out, served my dinner, and came back and you were still talking.
Marto's review was long enough for everyone.
Brisbane Lions 123, GWS 63. Ducks, I've got to say, I said last week they would win by 10 goals.
I don't know. I didn't watch that shit. No, I was at the Eagles game, mate. So all I saw was the points coming up. So maybe I really don't know what happened other than the scoreline.
Did anyone actually watch this game?
Nope. We don't watch footy on the Flockcast.
Can't even remember what game we're talking about.
Yeah. And there you go. All right. I think that leaves us with Melbourne 38, Freo 133. Yeah,
well, I think the problem is here, we would have someone to actually come on and give a review of this game, but for lack of a better word, you'd have to say squibbed on this occasion.
Well, you don't know, Jack. He was too busy running deep with his mate Jack Watts on the footy show in the Entourage.
North 115, Essendon 70.
Yeah, so I went to this game. It was kind of somber watching it, to be honest, though. I mean, Essendon looked flat like they have been for the past 4 weeks. Their kicking was woeful. They never really looked like winning the game at any point. You know, the AFL, they're going to whack them, whether it's soon or next year. If Essendon are smart, they'll cop their whack now and just reload for 2014, because based on their last 4 weeks, they're not going to be competitive in the finals.
Is going to an Essendon game at the moment like going to a wake?
Well, it was kind of like a fiesta, because we had all these bloody people in Mexican hats, and I think there was like 7 Mexican hats that I saw, 2 matadors, and 1 blow-up syringe.
Outstanding. Good work from the crowd that put that effort in.
Yeah, well, that was the Essendon supporters, so at least some of them have still got a sense of humour.
I personally think North did the job that we all wanted them to do, and gave the Bummers a good hiding. Duckula, flog of the week, mate.
Flog of the week, and it's only because of a sterling effort just from today, actually, is Wanamiri. He's getting back to his hitting his straps on his old form for when he won Flog of the Year a couple of years back, and he's putting in a great effort tonight, that's for sure. Fyfie's given him a pasting, and he's just keeps coming back for more.
Thread of the week. Ducks, I'll hit you again. What's the thread of the week, mate?
Thread of the week this week is Bosk's. Let me get the title here. Imagine if Bay 13 was your extended family, which is pretty interesting.
What does everyone else reckon? Danny?
Yeah, that one was pretty good. There was some good posts in that thread. Bosk's other thread, which is probably worth mentioning as well, let's Photoshop someone from Essendon, which is sticky on the top of the board. It's got a very nice Mexican sort of flavour in it too.
How about you, Marto? What was your week on the Bay line?
The Bosk one, yeah, is probably the best one there about the family.
I'm going to go with that as well. I reckon we'll go with Bosk's family, Bay 13 family, as thread of the week, and I think Warner has plucked it again for vlog of the week.
Tool. Absolute tool.
He's just misunderstood.
We love you, Warner.
First game next week, Friday night, and none of you will be surprised to know that Port aren't involved. Collingwood versus West Coast Ducks.
Yeah, I think if it's anything, last week is anything to go by, I think it's going to be fairly one-sided. So Collingwood by a lot for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Duckula. I would say Collingwood easily. West Coast looks shot.
Marto?
Yeah, Collingwood probably just looking for a tune-up into the finals.
It's hard to get offended by when you tell them the truth, mate. They should really be putting them to the sword if they want to seriously go into the finals with some good form, that's for sure.
Look, I have to say, I think West Coast, they've had a lot of injuries this year. They're missing key players. It's not making excuses. Like, when you've got players of the calibre of Kerr out, Nui out, like, they've got 2 or 3 of their best 6 out. You know, they have had all season. They've also got their best forward out, really, besides Kennedy, the goal sneak.
Right.
Yeah.
Frog.
Yeah, Frenchman. You know, you take 3 players like that out of your team, it's going to make a difference. And I think, unfortunately, the Eagles are looking at a bit of a backhander from the Pies. Next game is Adelaide versus Melbourne. Now, look, I'm almost scared to ask you, Marto, but go ahead and tell us what you think is going to happen.
Crows should win that easily. The Bay will go into meltdown if they don't.
Adelaide all round?
Yep.
Yeah, the only reason I'll watch this game is just to see if Mumbles accidentally goes to the Adelaide huddle at quarter time.
Now, the next game is North versus Hawthorn at Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, ceiling closed. North scored pretty highly at the Dome when the roof's closed. So, but we're playing against Hawthorn, and I don't think we'll win, but I don't think it'll be a walk in the park for the Hawks. It should be a pretty good game.
I think it'll be a pretty good game too, but yeah, I agree with Dan. I don't think it's going to be entirely one-sided, but I do expect Hawthorn to win.
The Hawks really were lucky to get over North when we played them last. We won by less than a goal, if I remember, and to be honest, they had it all over us all day. It was one of the hardest games Hawthorn's had all year. Hawks are going to have to come out all guns blazing because they've got Sydney away the next week, and they've got to sew up the top spot. So I think it's going to be a really good game of footy, well worth catching, and hopefully a lot of people get down there to see it. It's a North home game. And, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the Hawks get up, but it's no sure thing. I'll tip the Hawks just. Marto, what's your tip for this game?
Hawthorn will win, and I want to see some threads from Bosk. I want to see him trolling North again. It really threw me off to see him put his support behind North against Druggenden last week.
I tell you what, he's mellowed down this year, I reckon, on his hate for North.
He's been distracted. It's because of Essendon.
And, Dan, you're calling me out for a challenge, I hear. You've been saying it off air all night. North owned the Hawks, and we're a bunch of front-running squibs.
800% confidence.
So this is Fyfie-like confidence here. So I will bet you my avatar for 1 day for every goal that they win by. How's that sound to you?
I'm happy with that. I've got 800% confidence that North are going to touch up your boys, mate.
All right, you're on. Now, that gets us to the next big game of the week, and I think this is game of the round. Geelong versus Sydney down at Skills Stadium. Marto.
Sydney probably the last team to win down at Shithole Stadium, so they should give Geelong a good run for their money. Home final on the line as well.
Duckula?
Just touching on what Marto mentioned, is there a bigger shithole stadium in Australia that footy is played at? It is seriously backwater Hicksville. It is a hole. Anyway.
So hang on, you shouldn't be too hard. They've got lights now.
Yeah, I know. It was a big deal, wasn't it? It was a big deal.
It was a big fanfare. It was how embarrassment.
It was like the first time they'd seen a Christmas tree. It was sad.
Hilarious. It should be a good game, but I think Sydney aren't as good as we were thinking.
The Cats look a bit too good. Dan, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, the Cats are going to be pretty hard to beat at Shithole Stadium. So I'm going to go with the Cats.
Carlton have got to play Essendon at the MCG. I cannot see Essendon turning around their slump. I think Carlton will, get the job done after their big win over the Tigers. I've got 800% confidence of that happening. Dan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, Essendon's form of the last month has been terrible. All their losses have been 40-plus points. So it's going to have to be a big turnaround if they're going to be competitive against Carlton, who have picked up some form last week. Essendon, they may get Ryder, Hurley back, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat Carlton.
Ducks.
I'm struggling to even care about the results of this game. All I'm imagining is someone doing the community a favour and locking the doors to the MCG and just nuking it. I don't know, or letting some sort of parasite go loose in there and taking out all the Essendon and Carlton supporters and the teams at once. Do humanity a favour.
Really think.
No, I think Carlton will win. I think Essendon stick a fork in them.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I reckon they're done. And I'm telling you, he doesn't give a rat's toss bag about anything that happens outside of West Horsham. But this does affect Port's season. So, Marto, surely you've got an opinion on this game.
I'm going to throw my support behind Injectionden this week. Please don't howl me down or anything, but look, I don't want the Tankers to win. They don't deserve to make the finals. They don't deserve the chance to even play for playoff with Port for a chance at the elimination final. So
does anyone else here sense a bit of squeaky bum time down at Port Adelaide?
I thought squeaky bum time.
Bit afraid of Carlton maybe catching them. Is that mathematically possible? Why else would you barrack for Essendon ever?
So we can have an easy run into the finals. Why else?
Seriously, is it mathematically possible for Carlton to catch Port?
Yes.
Yeah, Carlton got a better percentage.
0.6%.
Well, hang on. Who have Carlton got next week? They got Port. Oh,
shit.
Now you smell what I'm cooking.
Oh, you're onto something, Wrangler.
Yeah.
Well, that would be game of the round at round 23.
It will be.
I reckon Carlton are going to win this, and I reckon Port are crapping their dacks. All right. Freo versus Port Adelaide.
Next.
I'm not even going to ask anyone.
Next.
Go Port.
Let's go back to Marto again. Marto?
Tough match, but the Port boys are going to go into it thinking that if they win that, they've assured themselves a place in the finals. So hopefully that will inspire the boys to get over the line. But we're facing boring Ross Lyon and there's boring game plans, so don't hold your breath.
I know I won't be watching it, but Freo are going to win. Ducks, what do you think?
I'm hoping that Port can come out and ambush them, because I'd like to see Port win it and keep Carlton out of the finals, but I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I hate Carlton, but I don't know, the idea of Port filling their dacks in the last round and having to play the Blues just makes me laugh, so I'm kind of hoping that, I don't know. Danny boy.
No disrespect to you, Marto, and your boys, but I could not give two shits about this game. I'm not even going to give a tip. You could not pay me to watch this game.
St Kilda versus Gold Coast. Look, I'm actually going to forbid anyone to talk about this game. It's a meaningless game. Who cares? Now, how about Sheedy versus Richmond? Danny boy, tell me about this.
Yeah, this is pretty much another nothing game, really. Although, has anyone here ever been to Skoda Stadium? No. So no one knows if there's any KFCs or karaoke bars near the stadium?
No, only souvlaki and kebabs and falafels.
Oh, that's no good. Well, then our man, the KFC boy, probably won't be going then, I suppose.
The only thing that could make my day, or sort of get my interest in this game, is if KFC boy threw a drumstick, clocked Sheedy in the skull.
I'll tip a draw.
Ducks?
I'm going to go with a 100-point win to Richmond.
Why the hell am I tipping a draw?
Dan, do you know? And what I'm imagining is I'm imagining KFC celebrating a 100-point win. KFC boy celebrating a 100-point win by Scrooge McDuck style and filling up a room full of KFC and just diving through it and swimming and throwing it in the air.
What do you reckon, Marto?
Richmond by 5 goals.
I actually agree with Ducks. There's no chance of this being a draw, Dan. You've been sniffing glue or something there, bro. I reckon that the Tigers are going to come out breathing fire, and they're going to win this by an absolute country mile. GWS stink, Sheedy's clueless. And, Tigers are going to absolutely hammer them. That gets us to the last game of the round. It's the mighty Bulldogs versus the Brisbane Lions up in the Gabba. Marto, kick it off.
Another one of those bottom 10 games which I suppose doesn't really matter too much. They're just jostling for draft picks at the moment.
Oh, listen to the Port Adelaide guy. For 6 years and they're up and he's publishing the bottom 10 teams.
Brisbane by 3 goals.
Ducks.
I'm going to go with Western Bulldogs by I think somewhere between 20 and 30.
Danny boy.
Yeah, if the Dogs bring their effort like they did last week, then I think they'll be too good for the Bryans, so I'll tip 20 points.
As much as I love the Doggies, I just think they'll sneak home the Bryans. It's going to be a real close one. Actually, could be a pretty decent game. I know, Marto, you say it's meaningless, and now that you're a big timer, in the 8.
Top 8 privilege, mate.
Yeah, true. That this game doesn't mean much, but I actually reckon it could be a half-decent game of footy.
Get your hand off it, Wrangler. You're blowing smoke up there at these teams' asses. I'll tell you what, there is a reason why this is on Sunday Twilight. It's the shittest time schedule you can get, and there's a reason the AFL has put it there. It's because there's a serious lack of interest in this game.
Yeah, you're right.
Stop pumping it up.
You're right. We call this time slot the port time. We call it port time.
Do you see why I want to get to Friday night now?
Yeah, look, I reckon, in all seriousness, I do think next year you'll see Port on Friday night. No doubt about it. And you'll have a tough draw, and we'll see how Boki and the boys go then.
This is my gripe of the week, every week.
Yeah, fair play. Look, this has been the Flogcast for round 21 of the Footy season. I am the Cat Wrangler. I've been your host because Fyfie is,
Soft.
Yeah, well,
Squibbing it.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Marto. And Duckula, what have you got to say?
I would have said he's just pulled Tiger Boys' keys out of the bowl.
All right. And that's all we've got for you this week. And we'll see you next week. And hopefully Fyfie's mob will manage a win and we'll have him back on the radio. Cheers, guys.